Wow, that notice just goes out lightning fast. That's unbelievable. That tells me I'm on. All right, follow Dr. Alan Hain. You'll find him on. You'll find him here on YouTube. The Lawn Care Nut. A lot of great advice. I'm not sure about where he's headed with his chemicals. Um, he's turned it more into a business than what he originally had started with. Um, am I feeling okay? Well, um, I polished off a bottle of Yukon Jack last night, and then I went to vodka and then polished that off. Um, so it was kind of a weird firestorm last night of sleep. But yeah, I guess I'm doing okay, Kelly. How are you? I mean, I don't think I did anything wrong last night. Just playing DJ for 7 straight hours. Hey, my family gardener, good morning. Just come in to do some tidbits on lawn. You know, a lot of people think that just because the sun is up, you should go cut. And that's just not true. Damp grass will shred, and you'll rip the leaf. Um, all good, my family gardener. Appreciate it. But you'll shred the leaf, and it'll rip all the way down, and that actually will hurt your grass. Um, Same as not having the blade sharpened every year or putting a new blade on. I try to keep 2 blades. Well, in my case, it's 3 because of the John Deere tractor. But um, I try to sharpen them every year. I go about midsummer um, and put the new blades on, give or take. I mean, you've got to inspect your blades. You've got to check them. Um, you don't want to be shredding grass. You want to. I mean, if you were to choose a lawnmower, I'd say the rotary blade is your better because it actually works like a pair of scissors against another blade. Um, so for those that are getting a house that never cut grass and don't understand what they're dealing with, yeah, you want to cut it. You don't want to shred it. So you need to have a nice sharp blade on your mower. Um, Time of day, especially when the heat kicks in. You don't want to cut in the middle of the day. I don't think that's why a lot of places look burned out earlier in the year. They're actually hurting themselves by cutting the grass. You know, dead of the day when grass is actually dormant. Grass only grows really at night, um, in more comfortable temperatures. Some people don't believe it, and I'm starting to build a bunch of pictures on Facebook to show. When I say I have to go cut the grass, I'm not kidding. I run it at 3 inches to begin with, just because my root base is already so deep. Um, and I'm cutting it every 3-4 days. I don't have a choice. It just does not look healthy. And then when I go in to do a show cut, I'll cut it a little bit lower. You know, 2.5, 2 3/4. That's when I cut my designs in it. So I never use the same mower. I always vary things, and I vary the cut because you do not want to cut the same way every single time. Put X's in, put O's in, go different directions. Don't cut the grass the same way. You're not you're not helping yourself. Um, I can see their opinion, but they think you should only cut from east to west so that the sun can always be traveling with it, and your blades will lay down and grow that way. Well, that's true in a lot of cases, and it will make it stronger. It will make it healthier. Oh, appreciate that, Tara Coop. We'll see you, dear. Got to do what you got to do. I appreciate you stopping. So you got to watch your temperatures. That's a huge critical. You can actually stunt grass if you cut it when it's too cold. Um, that's like this morning. I need to cut, but as I look outside, I can see I had a little bit of rain last night here in Cleveland, so the grass is still damp. Mine absorbs it a lot quicker than the neighbors, but still, damp grass is damp grass. It's not a good idea to cut it. It all gets caught up um, underneath the deck. It bags wrong. It's not a good idea. Don't. It is once that starts packing up under your deck, you've just screwed yourself up, and you're going to hurt your grass again. Um, I do not, especially in Cleveland, I do not recommend cutting grass below 51 degrees. Anything below 51 degrees, let it go another day. The heat's coming, but you got to watch. It's the beginning of the season. And there's some factors that will kick in. You can get some molding factors. You cut the grass a little too cold, a little too warm, a little too damp. You'll cause some weird diseases to happen in the grass. And that's just like with watering. Um, and I don't need to water anymore, but where the situation's reversed and I needed to water, there's certain times a day you water, certain times a day you cut. Um, and I kind of think and look at watering as like, okay, I just cut you. Now I'm going to give you some water so that you can try and recover from what I've just done. So I try to do those later in the evening. As the sun starts casting shadows across the yard, that's when I like to cut the grass. Not too late into the evening, and then I do the watering. So I kind of mix everything together. Um, you use less water. You don't need it. If it's not baking it in the sun, that's my problem with AM waterings. Um, unless you're doing it before the sun can really get to your grass and you're still dealing with long cast shadows, don't water in the middle of the day. That's a big mistake I see people make. And then they wonder why their grass is browning up. It's like, well, you just gave it a magnifying glass. You just burnt your grass. If the surfactant level's not there and it's not absorbing directly into the grass as you're spraying it, you're blowing a magnifying glass right on top of your grass and gonna burn it. We've all played with magnifying glass and ants. Same difference. It's like others ask me about bagging your grass. Bagging the first of the year, when I first start cutting and get the first couple of cuts off, get all that bagged and get that gone, wash the yard. Then I'll come back through and actually thatch it. I'll actually do my best to get all the grass clippings off, right down to the soil, right before I do the feed, um, so that there's less breaking down. There's less work to be done by Mother Nature. Um, kind of give her a break. That's what we're doing here. That's the point of the Green Wizard's Guide. We're helping nature along. We're not forcing nature to do anything. She doesn't like that. But you get your feed down. You get your little bit of sweetener down to boost the food web and the high grow level of your watering. Big word. Everybody runs. As soon as I drop that word, everybody disappears. That information's not in the book. It's just one of the watering cycles for anybody that's guessing. The high grow, the web watering every plant out there. It can bring water back from all sorts of weird places you wouldn't expect. But that's what I mean. I don't need to water my yard. I just don't. The water storage capacity of my soil, my topsoil, and as deep as it is, plus the food web working as deep as it is, um, I don't worry about watering. It all takes care of itself. Every little bit of moisture that can come in contact with my yard just gets instantly absorbed. It's really cool. Um, but yeah, going back to grass, watch your cutting. Watch your cutting. You can actually hurt yourself. Cut different designs. Don't cut in the middle of the day because your grass, in a sense, your grass is asleep in the middle of the day. There's so much sun and so much heat, it just goes dormant. Um, it grows at night. It really does. Do your watering at night. It's healthier in the long run. It gives the grass that's waking up a chance to start drinking. Um, and the results speak for themselves. There's no Mother Nature will show you it's working. The grass will show you it's working. Um, a lot of people will put it off and put it off, put it off. Well, I'll cut it noon. Well, I'll this. Well, I'll that. Be aware. You're talking about a living creature. You wouldn't necessarily jump on the back of a horse at 110 degrees and gallop that horse for an hour without fearing that you're going to kill that horse. Well, it's kind of the same thing here. Don't push your plants. Don't. They'll retaliate. Um, so yeah, follow your city ordinances. Cut early in the morning if you possibly can. Give your grass a chance to do its thing dormantly, because grass will heal itself as you cut it. The pores will close up. It just needs a little bit of time. Um, so cut it in the morning, water it at night. If you have to cut at night, well, so be it. Just make sure you're in the long shadows. Um, I know everybody likes to cut when it's warm and likes to be out there in the sunlight, but you're not helping your grass at all. Middle of the day is not the time to really cut grass. Don't cut it when it's damp by any means. I don't care. Go out there and walk it barefoot. If you can feel moisture, don't cut it yet. Give it a little bit more time. The day will warm up. You've always got tomorrow. There's no rush. Um, a lot of people want the super trick. I need super dark green grass early and fast and da 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 da. Well, once you start following the system, you'll have that dark, rich green grass. But understand, it takes many years for a specific hardcore breed of grass to occupy an area. Multiple species of grass is what you actually want, because you're going to have thinner blades, thicker blades, higher growing, slower growing. You're going to have a mix in there, and it's the healthiest yard you could have. You should have clover throughout the mix just to help you out, because it's a nitrogen booster all year long. It takes it out of the air. It has no effect on the soil. Um, Clover is incredible to have mixed into your yard, and just like a lot of and that's kind of an odd term to somebody new. Cover crops is making sure that the soil always has something green over top of it, always has something to retain. You kind of want that thin layer of thatch all the time, even though you should change it out because you don't want bad diseases starting in your grass because you've got a mold problem in your thatch. So you want to change it out. You want to pull it off twice a year. You want to get the thatch level off. Um, Watch how deep you're cutting your grass. Some people will let it grow way too long and then want their precision cut right off the top. Um, that's not good for the grass. Not at all. If you go in and you take your measurement as to what you're going to cut, and yeah, we're talking about getting out there with a ruler, you should only be taking a third of the height off. So like I cut it 3 inches. Every time my grass goes to 4 inches, I cut it. And that's across the board. Because again, you should have different types of grass growing. It takes a lot of years to go to a single breed of grass. And then you've got the variables of the shadow grass, of the sunlight grass, of the this, of the that. They can all work together hand in hand. So don't worry if you've got multiple species of grass in the same area. They're all helping each other. They're all doing their own thing for their own reasons. And they all only take different stuff out of the soil. So they can exist side by side and give you a thicker bed of grass. And as long as you have something green and you don't see soil, you're doing basically the cover crop principle on a farm. Same difference in your yard. You're growing a plant. Approach it like you were a farmer and take care of it like you were a farmer. You don't need all this other stuff. You don't need all of their suggestions. You just don't need it. Nature doesn't need it. You don't need it. But like they're saying we're supposed to see sun here this afternoon. We're supposed to get up in the 50s. It should be halfway decent for cutting grass. Yeah, well, I'll wait to see what the shadows are doing before I'm going to cut that grass. It needs it. I know. It seems like I cut too much, but when nature's working and doing her thing, everything is going to grow exponentially. It's incredible. It looks beautiful. It's going to reward you. Your neighbors are going to be jealous. You actually work less. So keep in mind, it's a living, breathing creature. Take care of it like one. Alrighty, I'm going to shut this off because I just wanted to do this on grass. I'll turn it back on and we'll just hang out. We'll see you guys later. Have a great day. We'll see you around the streams.